Hi, my name is Jorgelina with Pame Resources, and I am excited to share with you our maze templates. Thank you so much for purchasing this resource. I hope that you find it useful and that you use it all the time within your classroom. So I do have a little bit of a disclaimer before we get started. This worksheet is for the drop-down menus one. So if you have this one and also the one that does not have drop-downs where students are just typing in their answers, please go and watch that video instead because there are going to be some slight differences and you want to make sure that you're watching the video that goes along with the worksheet that you're currently working on. If you are working on the worksheet itself, just the self-checking worksheet that is not a maze, that's going to work exactly the same way. So there is no standalone video for that. You're just not going to have the maze aspect. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to start off with is adding the questions and the answers. Then we'll move on to the actual changing up sheet 2, which is where you'll find all of your answers. If you're comfortable with any of these portions as standalone, you are free to move past those portions of the video so that you can get to where it is that you need. I'll sprinkle in a couple of details here and there, some tips and tricks, as well as places where you can find additional resources, so that you're going to find that within the video. Also, I do ask that if you have a moment that you hit the subscribe button to our YouTube channel. We do upload a lot of videos that are free with lots of other activities, a lot of tutorials with how to make these from scratch on your own. So if you love that kind of stuff, if you feel like you would find it useful, we would really appreciate the support. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to build this maze for a trigonometry unit in math, but you can definitely use this for any topic. You can use this for language arts, you can use this for different languages, you can use this for math. So again, I'm going to be using this for math, but you can use it for whatever it is that you're working on. So I'm going to start off by titling my worksheet up here. So I did double click on this field and I am going to highlight that to erase it, and this is going to be evaluating trigonometric expressions. All right, so I do like the instructions as they are, the directions, but if you do want to change any part of it, if you want to be more specific, definitely just give it a double click and you can edit any part of it, or hit delete and start from scratch. Type in whatever you feel your students would benefit from when it comes to instructions. I am going to include all of these questions in here, but just to speed up the video, I'm only going to work through the first 4. Okay, and then I'll show you what it looks like once all of them are in here. Okay, so my first question is going to be to find the tangent of 90 degrees. So I'm going to type in tan, and then I need 90. Because this is a math worksheet, I do need the degree symbol, and the way that I find those, or the way that I put those in, just a little tip here is I do use just a Google Doc. So I'm on Google Docs right here, and I'm going to use the insert special characters, and I'm going to find the degree symbol. So this is a really useful tip anytime that you're making a math worksheet that you have to type into. So I'm going to right click and then copy that degree symbol, go back to my worksheet, and then hit Command V to paste. So now I have my degree symbol there. Again, that's tangent of 90 degrees. My second question, so I'm double clicking here and I'm just typing in my question. This, I want it to be cosine of 330 degrees. My third question is going to be sine of 30 degrees. And my fourth question is going to be tangent of 180 degrees. All right, so you can go ahead and pause the video here and finish typing up all of your questions, or listen to a couple. So I'm going to talk through a couple of tips here. Okay, so if you're working on math, that is what I do, right? I teach high school math, and I often have to use equations that you can't really type in Google Sheets. So instead, what I do is I import a picture, right? So for example, I've seen this on our Pixel page, music, right? So maybe you need to describe a musical instrument. So you need a picture of that instrument. Maybe you teach kindergarten and you want to put a picture of a color. So things like that, you can definitely insert pictures inside these cells. So the way that you do that, you are going to go to Insert, Image, Image in Cell, and then find the picture somewhere saved within your computer. So I'm going to browse and see what I have saved. There's probably not much in here because I do try to keep it pretty clean. Let's see, none of these work. Of course, I don't have anything. Let's put a picture of my kids. So really you can put anything in here, but I do save equations as pictures and then I put those up. Oh, that one's not supported because it's not a PNG. How about this one? No, this is a bad example. I'm trying to find a picture somewhere in here that will work. Oh, how about one of my memes? Sure, let's use this one. There you go. So you can definitely input pictures in there. You can type as much as you want. Let's say you need to type in a whole sentence here. So it's too large. You can change the font size. You can change the alignment if you don't want it to be centered. You can change the vertical alignment if you want it to be all the way at the top, right? So let's say I wanted this cosine to be all the way at the top. You can do that. That's the vertical alignment. I just like everything centered. That's the way your activity is set up. All right, so the other thing that I want to mention here is the trajectory, right? So the trajectory of your maze might be important, right? If you don't want to give your students extra practice, if you want them to absolutely follow just the maze, you want to see where this maze takes you. So the way that these are set up right now, they're labeled 1 through 15 or 1 through whatever it is that you purchased, and they're going from left to right. Okay, so this would be the answer would be number 1, the one that's set up to. So because this one's 5 all the way over here, this one's 6, this one's 7. And 7 is leading us to 12, and then 13, and then 8, and then 9, and then we're going to 5, and then 10, and then 14, and then 15. Okay, so the trajectory itself though, so that you can know what it is, you can find that on sheet 2, which we're going to be editing soon. So if you go down to sheet 2, I did hide all the answers. I'm just scrolling down. We are on column U all the way down to row 116. All of the templates are built the same way, so they're all around this area. Okay, and then right here, you can see the trajectory. Oh, excuse me. So you can see the trajectory here on X. So we're going from 1 to 7 to 12 to 13, just so that you know what you're going to be grading your students on. Okay, so then your answers here are still in order 1 through 15 because that is a lot easier to type in than to have to be like bouncing around, right? 1 and then 7 and then. So again, the trajectory is on X and all of your correct answers are over here on the answer column. Okay, and those correspond to the questions here, which we read from left to right. And then down here, the extra credit, these are the ones that are not part of your trajectory, but you might still want to include as extra practice for early finishers or extra credit. That's what I would do. I would give them extra credit, but that is up to you. And then over here from L to Q, we have all of our drop-down menus, which you'll see editing in just a bit. Okay, so again, at this point, take a moment, pause the video and type in all of your questions. Okay, what we're going to do next is type in all of the answers. So all of the answers are going to go here. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do 1 through 4, and then I'll give you a moment to type in all of your answers, and then we'll keep going with putting in the answers. Okay, so the answer to tangent of 90 degrees is undefined. So I'm going to type in the word undefined. Okay, so notice how it turned little red here and it says invalid. That's because undefined is not one of my answer choices here. So we're gonna have to make it so in a little bit, in a little while. But I'm just gonna go ahead and type in all of my answers here first. The answer to cosine is the square root of 3 over 2. So I'm gonna type that in, the square root of 3 over 2. I am a Mac user, so to get the square root symbol, all I gotta do is type in option and then V. So if you didn't know that, that's an easy way to get it from Mac. There is a shortcut for PC users, but you might have to look that up or use the trick of going into the documents and finding that square root symbol. All right, the sine of 30 degrees is 1/2, and the tangent of 180 degrees is 0. A tip when you're working with 0, sometimes 0 is recognized with Google Sheets as just blank. So if the answer is blank and the correct answer is 0, it might still mark it as correct for being blank because it's 0. So that's how Sheets recognizes it. So anytime that you have an answer of 0, what you want to do here is you want to highlight that field and go to go to format, not data, and go where it says number, and you want to change this to plain text. So instead of automatic, you want to change it to plain text so that now it's reading 0 as text rather than a number or the fact that it's a null value or recognizing it as a blank. So if you change that again, highlight, go to format, number, and then changing it from automatic to plain text. Okay, so that works anytime that you have an answer of 0. So at this time, you want to pause the video and come back when you have all of your questions and all of your answers. Okay, so at this moment, your worksheet should look something like this, where you have all the questions and all of the answers typed in. Now we want to make our answers true. We want to make our answers be correct. And the way that we do that is by going over to sheet 2, where I showed you last time. So you're going to scroll down all the way to the end horizontally, and then you want to go down all the way to the hundreds. The first thing that we want to set up is the correct answers. So the correct answers go on this column here that says answers. So you want to put in all of your correct answers there. Okay, so the correct answer for my first question was undefined. So I'm marking that there. The correct answer for the second one was the square root of 3 over 2. For the next one, it was 1/2. For number 4, it was 0. And remember what I had to do for 0. Because this is 0, I am going to select that and I'm going to change this format from number to plain text so that it's matching the other field there. Okay, so at this moment, you want to pause and finish typing in all of your answers. I'm going to go ahead and type in all of mine. Okay, this is 0. I'm going to have to change this to plain text format. So again, you should be working through this on your own and typing in all of your answers. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to stop there, but you should have all of your answers typed in. So I want you now to go back to sheet 1 and look at what it looks like so far, right? So I've typed in quite a few of the answers here. And they're still showing invalid because they're still not part of your trajectory, but you can see 3 of these are correct. I have to see what happened here. Format, plain text. Now it turned blue, it's correct. And this one, format, plain text. Okay, because there are 0 answers. Let's see, this second answer, number 6, is square root of 3. I have the wrong answer. It should be square root of 3. And then for number 7, this one should be negative square root of 3 over 2. I was typing in the wrong answers, so you can see how that wasn't working over here. Okay, so now they're correct. Okay, but yours, if you've typed them all in, they should all be blue now. Okay, if they're not blue, it might be because you need to do this format and then change it to plain text. If you're working with something that's not a number, if you're working with a fraction, with a decimal, with a mathematical symbol like greater than or less than or an equal sign. Okay, so if you're working with an equal sign, okay, let's say your answer is an equal sign. If you're working with something like that, you want to make sure that I'm going to do that for number 15. You want to make sure that you put a space first and then the equal sign. So it's not recognizing it any longer as an equation. Space, equal sign. Okay, so then your answer here for number 15 should be space and then equal sign. Okay, so again, if you put just an equal sign, it's going to think that you're going to start typing in an equation. Okay, so that's another trick if you're working with something like that. All right, so now that we have all of the ones in blue, we're going to fill in our drop downs. Okay, so your worksheet should look like this. All of your questions have all the correct answers, so they should all be blue and you should see a trajectory, but the only thing is that yours will still, because we haven't done the drop downs yet, will have these little invalid triangles on here. Okay, so we're going to fix those next. All right, we're going to fix those with the drop down here. Okay, so notice how I have 5 different options for your drop downs. In this case, that means you can put 5 different answers in there. If you're working on maybe an elementary school or middle school option where all of the drop downs are the same, this is going to be really, really simple because we're going to just copy and paste. But for me, I'm working with high school and I want all of my drop downs to be different. Okay, so I want them all to be different. I also don't want my correct answer to be in the top one of all of them because then that would be too easy, right? So you want to treat this sort of like a multiple choice. I want my first drop down belongs to my first question and my first answer was undefined. So I'm going to put it somewhere down here, undefined. I'm going to put that on number 3. Now when I go here, notice how there's no more triangle. And that's because in my drop down, undefined comes up. So now I want to change the other answers, 1, 2, 4, and 5, so that they're answers that, students might pick. So 1 is a good answer, 0 is a good answer in my particular worksheet. Negative square root of 3 is a good answer, and negative 1 is a good answer. Okay, so these are all answers that could potentially pop up in a evaluating trigonometric expressions unit. So that's why I'm putting them in my drop down. Okay, so now I remember that my questions 4 and 5 had zeros. So this would be a good drop down for those. So I'm going to put those here. Okay, and the correct answers for those 2 is 0. So I'm going to go here and let's see, why are these invalid? Select the 0 from the drop down. We gotta have to, I know why. And that's because these are not set as plain text. So format, oh no. Let's close that. So we're gonna go to format, what is going on? Format, number, plain text. And then we're gonna highlight, format, number, plain text. Let's see if that fixed it. There we go. All right. Okay, so this is what you should be doing. You should be updating your drop downs now. Let's see one more. Drop down number 2. On question number 2, my correct answer is the square root of 3 over 2. I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to put that in the 4th answer. My other ones, let's see, good ones would be 1/2. Let's do negative root 3 over 2. Maybe root 3 over 3 would be another one, and then maybe negative 1/2. Okay, so again, as long as your answer is somewhere within those 5 options, then you're good. And you don't want all of them to be in the same position unless all of your drop downs are the same and then your answers change, and you want all of your drop downs to be the same. So let's say your drop downs are all words like cat, dog, mouse, hippo, and bird. I don't know why that came to mind. But let's say it's something like that. And then you want to copy. So I just highlighted all of them. And then I hit Command C or Control C. And then you can Command paste in all of these. Control paste, Control paste, Control paste, Control V. And if you want all of your drop downs to be the same, that's going to be really, really super fast. So at this point, I do want you to once again pause the video and finish adding and fixing up all of your drop downs. At the end, your worksheet should look like this, where you have all of your answers are all blue and there are no more triangles. Okay, so no more little red triangles here. Your sheet 2, look at mine. I have all of my drop downs that are different. My answers are all filled in from 1 through 15, holding my key. And then I have the trajectory and the extra credit. If that doesn't help you, you can always delete those. Okay. Now what we're going to work on next is hiding these from the students. We don't want them to be able to see these answers. So I'm going to show you a really quick method on how to hide these. So at this point, I want you to pause the video and make sure that all of your answers are filled in. All right, we're going to hide this from students. The way that I do this, there's a couple of different ways, right? So I've always been a big fan of just changing the font text to white. Okay, so we can do this and then just go to font text and change it to white. Okay, so then when students come here, they don't see it, right? However, look at how, I don't like how that looks there, where that, this is all merged together. So we're gonna change this, and you can also, it's a dead giveaway because you can see the text color being white there. So I don't like that. Students really are able to tell that there's something there, especially if they know sheets really well, if they know sheets well. So instead, I mean, this is an option. If you like that option, you can take that option. I'm gonna take this out. Okay, I'm gonna delete this column. So I'm just gonna delete the whole thing. So backspace. And then while you're selecting here, I want to unmerge this. See those two little arrows that are pointing at each other? You want to click on that so it unmerges all of them. Okay, so now there's no dead giveaway that there's something there. All right, the other thing I want to do is I'm going to select all of these fields starting from here. I'm going to go all the way and just select all of them. I'm going to right click, go to where it says view more cells in action, and I want to go to conditional formatting. Notice how they all turned blue. Okay, so now it's saying if it's not empty, if the cell's not empty, that's exactly what I want, because it's not empty, we have stuff in there. If it's not empty, I want the background color to be white, I don't want it to be blue, but then I also want the font to be white. So this little A, notice how it all disappeared. So it all disappeared. I'm gonna go to done. Now when students are anywhere around here, right, so they're over here, whereas where they're going to start off, the font is black. It's not white, it's black. So now students, it just looks like a normal sheet. Okay, so they're gonna start off all the way here at the top, and really it just looks like an empty sheet. There's nothing here. And if they start snooping around, or if they're going around here, they're just not gonna see anything. They'd have to physically know where the questions are for them to go and be able to find the answers. Okay, so that's hidden. If you need to watch it again, pause the video, go back, right, to see how I did the conditional formatting. And now we want to hide the sheet. I'm going to go right click. So I'm here at the sheet. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to hide. Now the sheet is hidden. My worksheet is done. And the way that you would share it with your students is by deleting all of these answers. So I'm going to make a picture. I'm going to make a copy of this. And I'm going to call this no answers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my first one here, and I'm going to title this one key. This is my answer key. I can see my maze, and everything's correct, and it's hidden. And then this one here is going to be, I can erase this now because the other one is called key. I'm going to erase all of the answers. Make sure it's working. All right, so here's the issue that I'm glad that I checked this. This is why this one's not deleting. It's because the answer to this one is 0. And it's thinking that 0 is the same as being blank. Okay, so I need to make sure that I go to format, and I'm going to change this to plain text. Okay, because I had made so many different ones. So format and plain text. And I'm going to have to do that in sheet 2. So I'm going to have to unhide that. So that's good. So you can see how to do that. I'm going to go to view and hidden sheets, show sheet 2. And I need to go to these answers here. Oof, now I'm going to have to find it. See how you can't see any of them? All right, I'm going to have to go to the conditional formatting. I'm just selecting a bunch, and I'm going to go to conditional formatting. I'm going to delete. Uh-oh. I don't have it highlighted. Means I completely missed it somewhere up here then. I found it. I'm going to delete it. I deleted the conditional formatting. All right, so it's these two. I need to highlight those. Data, format, number, plain text. So the reason why these are not in plain text is because I had so many different copies for the video, and I didn't do it on all of them. So now I need to do it on also my drop downs. Format, number, plain text. Okay, so most of the time when something isn't working correctly, you should change this format. Okay, so number and then change it to plain text. Okay, so that is definitely the best bet. If for whatever reason something's not working, make sure that your answer matches exactly. But this plain text will fix it. Okay, so changing it to as long as you don't have a spelling error or an extra space or something like that. Now, there we go. Now it disappeared. Perfect. So I am going to do this once again, highlighting all of it, right click, conditional formatting. I'm going to change this to white and the font to white. And then go back here. I'm going to close this and hide the sheet, right click, hide sheet. So you got to see everything all over again. So this is what your students would see. So then as your students are ready to start, they get their drop down, answers undefined. It's going to take them to the next one. Answer here is -√3/2. And it's going to take them to the next one. So this is how it's going to work for them. They're going to see this exactly, and then they'll be able to submit their work. I hope that you found this video useful and that you create lots of activities. Please leave a comment if you did find this useful, if you find it easy to use, or let us know if you didn't. We do appreciate any feedback. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.